I think that in these times, it's easy to feel like you're sliding back in terms of execution. Like you're not prioritizing the right things or inspiring your team in the right way. But this just isn't true. It's out of your control.
This isn't we screwed up and, that's why, a round of financing didn't come in. We built the wrong product. None of that's true. This is an economic reality that was brought on by a pandemic, and so the reality is that nobody did anything wrong. And it's okay to feel like this sucks. It does. It absolutely does. But, we have to take swift action because the company will go on and must go on.
The people in your organization are living in a new reality, a new business. So it's more important than ever, really, to align your people strategy with your business strategy through talent optimization. And today, I'm going to walk you through what that looks like. If you've never seen this framework before, it basically forces us to think holistically about the people in our organization. We have to design with purpose, hire great candidates, and inspire them to give it their all while continuously diagnosing the company's engagement. Let's take a look at design first, which focuses on executive alignment. You know how in horror movies they shine a flashlight in a dark area and a bunch of cockroaches scatter everywhere to dodge the light?
Well, unfortunately, when you throw in a pressure-packed bomb like what just happened with the pandemic, the same thing happens to executives. Everybody's got an idea. Everybody wants to help. Typically what you find is senior leaders in organizations got to where they are because they are proactive, driven problem solvers. So immediately that's where their minds go. And so ultimately what's really important then is to make sure, and we've seen this even at PI, where it's like, great ideas, everybody, time out. Let's make sure that we're aligned here on what we're going to do next.
Maybe you've already started to see it happen at your organization. Everyone has an idea. And maybe many of them are great ideas, but ultimately it's inefficient if everyone's working on their own project. So after an economic downturn, it's really imperative to have executives take a strategy assessment. It's quick, it forces everyone to be transparent with where their head's at, and it unifies the executive team at a time when it matters most. And with everyone pointed in the same direction, it becomes a lot easier to have org restructuring conversations should you need to move the people in your organization around to pivot to a new strategy. Next, let's take a look at the hire aptitude, which prioritizes the right person for the right role. Even if your company isn't hiring external candidates right now, job fit should still be top of mind for internal candidates, especially if you're looking to restructure your organization. Take a software company, for example. Maybe there's a shift from an R&D type strategy to a customer-focused retention strategy. So you're tasked with moving some folks from the innovation teams onto client-facing roles, which call clients all day. Here are your options. Maeve, who is an operationally focused profile, Arnold, who is a socially driven profile, and Sia, who likes to take ownership of projects. Who would be the best fit for this role? Obviously, the true answer is much more nuanced, but Arnold's socially driven pattern should be a positive factor in this decision. Let's also think about HR for a minute, and the coming influx of applicants.
In the recent month, you had about 0.7 applicant per each open position in the US. It was a world of scarcity. Back in 2008, you had 6 applicants per position. It was a world where companies were flooded with resumes, people desperate for work. So I think it's going to happen now. People will start to be fired and laid off, and they're going to, look for a job. And so they're going to blast out resumes left and right. So companies will go from a scarcity environment where you were like trying to, get the right people, to a world where there's going to be too much to manage. So for those companies who still need to hire selectively, how do you find the diamond in the rough now that you have thousands of resumes instead of dozens?
To put it simply, even in an economic downturn, the hire aptitude gives you much needed selection, internally and externally. Now, let's move on to inspire. Arguably the most important aptitudes in times like these, this one is all about empathy. Or, to put it another way,
We cannot pretend that everyone reacts in times of crisis the same way.
even if we weren't in the remote reality we find ourselves in, people need to be reached out to in different ways right now. If you're a manager, it's never been more important to build trust on your team by managing according to behavioral drives and needs. Here are just some examples on the screen now.
So for a manager, when you have the right insights about your people and you can meet them where they are, that's even more important, because what we always find is that in a time of crisis or pressure, people revert to their natural patterns. There's a risk that they become callous, that the people part gets turned down at a time when it really needs to be turned up.
On the team building side of things, now might be a good time to have a team work style session. Talk about the similarities and differences in how everyone communicates, how they take action, and how they make decisions. Make sure the team is aware of everyone's needs and keep your meeting rituals intact. There's so much more to go over with when it comes to Inspire, but in the end, it's really just recognizing that we're in a rapidly changing environment, and we need to comfort and trust our team members.
As the strategy changes, the team assignments change, the people who are on the team change. That's why Inspire is so critically important now.
Last but not least, let's make sure we take a pulse on how the organization is doing with diagnose. I'll start with some reality from Jackie.
A lot of companies are going to be reducing cost. A lot of companies potentially could be going through reduction in force. And how they do that will reflect how their employees feel.
And how your employees feel will be shown in an engagement survey. So diagnose your organization and do it more often than you have in the past. In times like these where spare resources are limited, identifying weak spots in your organization's engagement scores can give managers the information they really need to support teams who are struggling the most.
And really, are we increasing? Do people trust us? Do they believe in the leadership? Or is their manager doing what they said they should do? Do we know what the new goals are? So those are things that you wanted to pay more attention to, because the people that are left in your organization are critical to make it to the other side.